Right, it's Monday morning and I've just dropped the kids at school and I'm going to Godalming. I'm on a little flower farmer on tour session and I'm going to see a new flower farm, the Godalming Flower Company, and have a look at how they're doing the setup, how it's all working. Caroline and I have been working a little bit together this year. My job is to help her really maximise how the process goes so that when she launches next year, she launches with a real bang, but also set her up so that she's got a nice growth set up for the next 4 or 5 years, so that her business, which obviously isn't going to grow, she's not launching with 3 acres of foliage to cut, but so that she can launch and grow nicely and have a sustainable future as a flower farmer. It's very exciting. Anyway, it's a miserable day. I'm stuck here in the traffic in Bruges. Well, no, I'm parked, obviously. So I'm going to just put in her postcode and set off. Very exciting. I love a jolly. And I love mentoring. It's really fun for looking at how other people, what the objectives of other people are, which are not always the same as mine. Obviously, no 2 flower farmers are the same. Everybody has a particular thing that they're trying to do. Most of them are lifestyle businesses, which are really not no 2 lives are the same. So everybody's looking to build a different kind of business to bring in a different kind of income. Some very modest, some a little bit more ambitious. I think Caroline's is quite ambitious, so I'm looking forward to seeing the actual place on the ground, even if it's pouring with rain. Anyway, come on, let's go. It'll be fun. Hope you'll find it interesting. And if you're new to the channel, you're very welcome. Willow in the back. Please do subscribe, press the bell icon, and I'll tell you when I've got more clips coming up. And if any of the tips and tricks I give you are useful, you can always buy me a coffee, or better still, join my club. 335 other people. Can't be wrong. And yes, I have a car full of willow. I am taking willow for Caroline to strike so that she too can have a crop of willow. Very good idea. Well, here we are at the Godalming Flower Farm. Sorry, here we are at the Godalming Flower Company, I beg your pardon, where lovely Caroline has been making out of a vegetable field a new flower farm, and it is fantastic. Look, can you see the Polytunnels are over there? She's got amazing wind breaks behind me, and slowly working across a 4-acre patch for this year, so that's for 2024, and then another 4-acre patch, so this is going to be an 8-acre flower farm by 2025. This is how many miles from London? 20 miles?
20 miles.
20 miles from London, an 8-acre flower farm. Should we have a look at what she's planted? I think we should. So the Polytunnels have got, I'm going to show you what's there, but coming along here, planted partly as crop, but also as windbreak, rows of hydrangeas and all kinds of other shrubs, spirea and pittosporum. So they are going to be windbreak as well as crop. Very cleverly done. The beds are about 1 metre wide. They've got a nice gutter down the sides to keep the water away from the roots of the plants. There's room to mow down the middle of them. This is tidy and efficient. And spot the mulching, which will, I'll show you the difference, which will really help keep the weeds down. This is a field which has been used for growing veg for years, and so there's a plenty of weed crop here. So for Caroline to keep the weeds down, she needs to mulch. So look, if you're looking for land, what Caroline got was land with water. This is drip irrigation feed coming from there, but it's from a borehole. So they can do a drip feed really nicely organised, and it will do the whole patch. So there's that 4-acre field through the fence there, and this 4-acre field here. It's really fantastic. But look, here are the eucalyptus which have gone in, and if ever you needed to see the value of mulch, to keep off the weeds. That's where the mulch is. And this is not mulched. You see, I'm always banging on about mulch.
That was mulched in July this year. We haven't touched that since.
So in case you couldn't hear that because I left my microphone behind, this was mulched July this year and hasn't been touched since. Look, no weeds. It's amazing. It's amazing. Gosh, it's immaculate. It has been very wet. And look, Caroline's partner Dave has put up the fencing. This is deer fencing. I'm going to turn round. I'm 5'2", so the deer fencing is about 7+ feet. Nicely done. Deer and whoop, rabbit fencing. If you're going to have a flower farm, if you're going to take on a field anywhere, you need to protect for the deer and you need to protect against the rabbits. Now look, talking of windbreaks, can you see how this brand new fencing put in with an auger this summer is pulling out here, that fence post? That's just the wind is pushing this. So do really be conscious. We've had 3 named storms in the last 6 weeks, and this lovely field is a great field, but it is a little bit exposed. It's quite high on a hill. So when you're planning your flower farm, do consider the wind. First, consider your wind. I'm always telling people that, and people don't always pay attention. So if I film round, you'll see the good things about this. We've got a really nice gate. If you're looking for land, find somewhere with access. Find somewhere where you're allowed to put up polytunnels. Don't just put them up willy-nilly. And find somewhere that you can slowly develop in the time that you have to suit you. Don't overreach yourself. Look how tidy this is. Caroline and Dave only took this patch on in July. They only signed on the dotted line in July. And look, slowly all the uke is going to be protected, particularly against cold weather. We've got some really nasty cold weather coming.
You'll see the circle of mesh around this now. That's going to be pinned with fleece. So that it can give them nice protection from whichever way the wind comes and to keep it from getting too cold in its first year in the ground.
So did you hear that? These are all going to be, all of these ukes are going to be surrounded by wire and fleeced to give them protection in their first year. Because this is cold up here. It's colder than Somerset. And then look at the planting. How immaculate is that? The bearded iris are going to do much better than they would at Common Farm, where, believe it or not, we're wetter at Common Farm. And then we've got peonies, roses, all kinds. And the biennials, let's go and have a look at the biennials. And look, there's a row of sunflowers here that were really grown for the birds and have been left for the birds. It's great when flower farms think about their environment. So these beds have been made literally by somebody standing here, breaking the earth up to give them the profile. They've got quite a good high profile, about 8-10 inches high, and you can see how that means that the roots of the plants will be out of the wet in the winter. So look, 200 odd roses in so far and more to go. 200 peonies in so far. You London florists, you're going to be very lucky, because at last you're going to be able to buy quantities of locally grown flowers. So the peonies are under these beds and they get planted first, and then they're all being mulched so that they won't have weeds on them. The mulch makes such a difference. It's not just about feeding the soil, but also about keeping weed suppressing. It's a really nice natural way to suppress the weeds. So look what Caroline's got to do. Starting here, got to work her way over. There's plenty to do. More mulch lessons. Look, here are foxgloves, And this bed wasn't mulched because the mulch hadn't been delivered. Look at the weeds. You can hardly see. They're there, the foxgloves, but the weeds look as though they're taking over. And then look at the next foxglove bed. Plenty of foxgloves, no weeds. And over there to the honesty, plenty of honesty, no weeds, because the mulch is working as a weed suppressant. It works. All this line here, that's full of foxgloves, but you can't even see them. So mulch, everybody. So this summer, they signed the lease for the field in July, since when they've put up these 2 little polytunnels. They're not that little. And they had dahlias in that dahlia patch there. And they had, most of the annuals were at home. So they just had this patch here under my hand cultivated. And then since then, they have done all the work that we've been looking at. Everything that you can see done on that field has been done by hand by Caroline and her partner. It's quite impressive, isn't it? And you've got there are piles of manure around, but they're testing it all to make sure there's no aminopyrrolid poisoning before they spread it around. They're being really, really careful and really clever. So Caroline's partner Dave has made this brilliant bed former. Can you see how it works? It rolls along the sides and pushes up the earth either side to make those tidy, about 1 metre wide beds again and again and again. And that's a really clever piece of cobbling together cleverly to make a piece of machinery that you need. These things aren't really available on the market, and if they are, they're worth too much money for a new flower farm. So 2,000 ranunculus.
I did do the maths before. I have got enough planting space.
2,000 ranunculus going into 2 smallish tunnels. These, what is this? 40 foot?
They're 40 foot, yeah.
About 40 foot by 20 foot. And so 2,000 ranunculus going into 2 40 foot by 20 foot tunnels, plus sweet peas down the middle. Tidy down the middle there. Oh, yes, you see, you London florists. There will be locally grown flowers for you in quantity. Well, I have to say, well done, Dave and Caroline. This is all done since the 1st of July 2023. And it is today, I think, something like the 27th of November. That's one hell of a lot of work they've done. And next year, this is going to be a mass of flowers. And the following year, it'll be the same again, the other side of the windbreak, another mass of flowers. So what I would say is, if you are looking for land to make a flower farm, be very like Dave and Caroline. Take on as much land as you can get hold of. Even if you think you're not going to farm it in the short term, long term you've got room to expand into it. Start working the land as soon as you can, having fenced it first against the deer and the rabbits. Don't take on land which has no water source, because you're going to need water. And be careful to make sure that you have good vehicular access, because if you're growing flowers for sale, you need to be able to have them either collected, or you need to be able to harvest them into some kind of vehicle and take them elsewhere. In your head, think, be like Caroline and Dave. And then get growing. Even look, it's 4 o'clock in the afternoon, it's nearly pitch dark, and Caroline is still running her day job. So she's up here early in the morning, she's here in the evenings, they're both here at weekends. They're getting themselves established so that their objective, which is to have a lot of flowers for sale to London florists, comes to fruition soon. But B, they can live the dream. That's what they want to do, isn't it, Caroline?
Indeed.
Anyway, thanks very much for coming along. I hope you've enjoyed it. My hands are cold. It is colder up here than it is in Somersetshire. I'm going back to the warm, wet southwest. But I've had a lovely day here in Surrey. And I hope you all wish the Godalming Flower Company the very best of luck. And come and be their customers. I think the website's going live in the next few weeks. And when it does, I will add it to the blurb of this clip so that you can look them up. But in the short term, there's a little bit of Instagram action. The Godalming Flower Company. Have a look and see a new flower business grow before your very eyes.